Good morning all, and welcome to yet another exciting ActivePipe webinar. My name is Asif and I'm one of your client success managers here in ActivePipe. Delighted to have you all join us for this session and here to assist to help you level up your email marketing. We've got a fair bit of things to cover for this session, so if you could please put your Q&As through the Q&A channel. I would try my best to follow up towards the end of the session. And also if we miss out on any of the questions, please feel free to shoot an email to success@ActivePipe and we should be able to get back to your questions offline. Thanks very much, everyone. Hi there, Peter, Rachel, good to have you here. So I'll just quickly begin by sharing my screen with you so that we get an understanding of some of the things we're looking forward to cover for this session. All right. Cool. So as we all know, this session is all about assisting you to level up your email marketing. But even before we dive into the leveling up part, there are three things that we need to be aware of to create emails that would resonate. The first thing I would want to focus on is that we need to add a close. Now, what this means is we need to have a call to action button above the scroll line. Now, a call to action button needs to be very relevant to your content. Call to action button could appear in the form of an update profile in your introduction panel, an appraisal request button at the end of the sold properties, a data discovery survey button on the welcome emails. This button that we add to our panels comes really handy when we want to have those warm inbound leads flowing into us. Next thing we would want to focus on is the subject line. That first impression that we create with our customer base. Having that name on the subject line creates such great engagement that email notification pops up on the cell phone and it never fails to draw your attention on the email notification with your personalized name, your personal name with a bit of curiosity, asking a bit of question. It could be, the subject line could be in the form of, Kevin, what's happening in your market? Easy as that. We can also use emojis on the subject line, but we would want to use it sparingly. The third thing we would want to focus on would be the content part in the email. We would generally want to keep it between 50 to 200 words, very concise, using stats and figures, and historically, following these few factors have found out to be creating the highest response rates. Now we know the three tips and tricks we need to be following on leveling up our email marketing, focusing on the agenda. The first thing we would want to take away from this session would be building and sending an email as an agent, creating a newsletter template, utilizing the article and the video feeds, promoting any off-market properties we have with us. Last but not the least, using our enhanced audience tag selector to target the right audiences. So let's not wait anymore and dive into the exciting part because we've got a fair bit of things to cover. Cool. Now that's your ActivePipe dashboard in front of you, everyone. I am logged in as an agent, Bob, and I'll take you through on how we can create a quick newsletter template for Bob. Clicking on the email icon over here leads us to the email section where we've got this green cool button which says create email. Clicking on it takes us to a basic template every different brand has got their own specific template. This is just a good one to begin with. It leads us to name this particular email. Again, this name is for internal reference only. I'll just write it as newsletter. Oops, missed out on that S. Press continue. As you can see, the internal name that we provided appears right on the screen. But what we need to focus on, everyone, is the subject line. Remember that first impression that we talked about? Now we can see what we can do with it right here. Let's just go by what is happening in our market. And this little cool formula within brackets at contact.firstname allows the contact's first name to be automatically fetched onto the subject line. That's immediate engagement right there. Next thing we would want to do is select a category for this email. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, we have got the painting canvas at the center and all your painting tools on the right-hand side, starting from text and images, properties, page elements to make your email look pretty, the media panel, the smart feed. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, this introduction panel that we have on our screen, this introduction panel, the photo on the right, the details at the end, all these things would be automatically fetched from your database based on the agent who's sending out this email. In this case, Bob would have all his details automatically fetched under kind regards, as well the photo would be automatically pre-filled. So Bob would really don't have to worry about anything. That's all been taken care of. In fact, the contact's first name would be appearing automatically over here as well. So in case if you're wondering what this blue highlighted part does is, if I click on this part over here and look at this little placeholder on the right, clicking on it allows us to automatically pre-fill any of contact's details onto the panel. In this case, the first name. Now, a very good practice over here, since we were discussing about adding clauses, would be to add a cool button over here, asking your audience immediately to update their profiles if they haven't updated already. What we can do right now here is, just by clicking on this button over here, we can name this button the way we want to, say update profile, add a button link address to it. In this case, I can do active pipe property preferences. Continuing it allows this button appearing on the introduction panel right away. So we've got immediate engage with our customer base to update their profiles. And once they have added all their profiles, you as an agent would be getting all those warm inbound flows on your dashboard under the update profile section. That should be very handy. Now, moving forward, once we have done a bit of introduction for ourselves, we would want to provide the market update that this newsletter is all about. So in order to do that, we'll jump onto the right in the dark panel. Underneath the text, we can drag and drop this heading onto the canvas, easy as that. Now I can change the heading over here as your market update. Change the color of the panel. I'll just select blue. Not a big fan, but we'll pick it anyways. The next part comes is going back to the text panel, dragging and dropping the column onto the canvas here. Now, this is where you will want to be very concise, not too very wordy, but keep it between 50 to 200. And to help, we can use the placeholders again. Clicking on placeholder, selecting first name allows the contact's first name again to be fetched onto the canvas. That engagement there is a continuation of what we created with the introduction panel. Now, I've focused a bit on the introduction that we would want to put as many stats as possible, say some updates on sales, or any of the market posts that you have going on for your business, but let's keep it very concise, less wordy, bit of stats, and have that engagement building up. A cool story from one of my clients lately. He sent out this monthly newsletter, in fact, with an online mortgage calculator on this canvas, and it seemed to create a lot of engagement. So just a bit of a tip on there. Now, once we have put our content, our messaging out to our customer base, we can even create more engagement by jumping onto the article feed over here under Smart Feed. If I drag and drop this list onto the canvas, easy as that, clicking on this orange tile leads me to the library of contents, all pre-uploaded into your account, free to use. Clicking on real content here leads me to a list of contacts. Would wait for the internet to be a little more kind. As you can see, a lot of the articles very up to date or relevant to the current circumstances would be appearing on your screen right here. I'll just click on one for an example. Again, any of the content in here can be amended to the level you want it to be. We can select a similar one in that fashion, but I'll just leave it for you to pick from. Now we've got the introduction part done, market update provided to the audience, a bit of a reading suggested as well. The next thing we would want to do is take this opportunity to highlight maybe an off-market property we have with us. In order to do that, first what I'll do is create another heading here. Just name it as property of the week. Change the color as well, just to keep it uniform. And then jump back to the property panel here. Look at the feature tile here with the stars. That's a handy one. Drag and drop to the canvas. Clicking on this tiles icon takes me straight to your property feed, where you can either scroll, select any of the properties, click in here, search for a property as well, and also you've got filters provided to you from where I can select. Clicking on it lets me select current, sold, property type as well. Just for an example, I'll click this one here, and it would appear right on the canvas. Now, recently we've launched the private inspection feature too, where your audience can click on this pretty button here and request for a private inspection. That's pretty handy. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are very excited for that, but I'll leave it for another session to focus on that part. But moving forward with our newsletter template, took this opportunity to feature a property. Now, if we've got a virtual tour handy for this specific property, or even an agent profile handy for this property, what we can do is jump back to the dark panel on the right. Underneath media, we've got a video tile. You can drag and drop this video tile here onto the canvas. Clicking on choose video takes us straight to the YouTube channel feed. I can select any of the videos from here. In your case, your YouTube channel would be integrated to your account, but you can again copy a YouTube URL link, paste it, clicking on get video lets you put the video on the screen too. I'll just click on this video as my personal favorite from us. Now we've got the property of the week featured. We've got a video of the property available. If we want, we can select some of the latest listings by taking this opportunity. Again, adding another heading to it, naming it as some latest listings, changing the background color. Now we can automate this feed right away by jumping back to the property panel, dragging and dropping this grid onto the canvas. If you notice this cool toggle bar here, clicking on it allows us to fetch 4 of the currently listed properties. Now we can take this opportunity to share more about us, taking the traffic or our audience straight to our agent profiles, jumping onto the page elements. Underneath it, we get a button over here. I can easily drag and drop this button. Clicking on it takes me to the button details where I can say to learn more. And quickly paste our website URL on here, or even the agent's website URL right here, and save it. So anytime and every time your audience would be clicking on this button, cool button here, would take your audience straight to your website. In a similar fashion, we can highlight some of our latest sold properties too. What we can do is create another panel. Rename it as recently sold properties. Change the background color again, just to keep it consistent. Going back to the property panel over here, team, dragging and dropping this grid onto the canvas, I can activate this feed, clicking on define properties. Remember, we are trying to highlight some of these sold properties, right? Just by hovering around this latest listings, I can select this listing status as sold or even current. Having selected sold over here, and clicking on the update button here, fetches automatically some of the recently sold properties. Now we can take this opportunity here to add another call to action button and quickly put a request if somebody's keen for a free appraisal, right? We can add the active pipe property appraisal link to it. Oops, we wouldn't want to have this part handy. Get rid of this part here. If we save it, anytime your audience clicks on this free appraisal button here, allows you to get an appraisal notification over the email and as well as the appraisal request reflecting on your dashboard. Now, if you're after all of these cool little landing pages, you can reach out to the support team, or happy to share you with the landing pages links as well. Some of our clients are using it to the most to create a lot of engagement. Now, finishing up on our newsletter, having created this little newsletter template, just before finishing up, we can click on this cool preview button over here. Clicking on view preview lets us view the template that we have created on behalf of Bob here. Starting from the introduction, the cool update profile button to add a bit of close to it, your personalized market update with stats, some good reads, property of the week or the month, a video to it, some latest listings, a good call to action button to meet the team, some recently sold properties, and a cool free appraisal button. Now, as an agent, if I want this email to be sent out quickly to some of my contacts or even a category of my contacts, what I can do is save this email right here. Clicking on this quick send button takes me to the campaign builder. Now I can send it to all contacts, but if we want to target specific contacts of ours, we can either name any of the contacts here just by clicking on it, search by it, or even click on browse, which takes us to the tags in your CRM. We can select any of the tags from here or any of the audiences in ActivePipe. If I click on apply, you can see the tag appears on the screen right here. And under contacts, you can see exactly the total number of contacts too. Having selected schedule immediately, we can have this email sent out right now. But if I click on schedule for a specific date and time, lets me pick any time here and also a date. Now, historically, Wednesdays and Thursdays, early morning or late afternoon, seem to create a lot of engagement. So we might focus on that part too. Have this campaign running, we can click repeat the schedule. We can run this campaign on weekly basis or monthly basis, whichsoever. For a newsletter template, we can click it as a monthly campaign, keep the skeleton ready. We can change the contents around, the properties around. And if I click send right here, team, this campaign would be up and running right here. I'll leave it to this point so far and just save this email. But again, for the admins, you would have to create the email, jump onto campaigns. You wouldn't be having this quick send functionality. But for the agents, yes, jump onto it and you can have this email sent out to your contacts as you will. Now, another cool thing I really wanted to show you guys was the ActivePipe support hub. Over here, you do have the option of looking out for any of the training videos or any of the terminologies, or even this cool help button allows you to chat with our support team as well. So any technical tips or any directions you need, you can type in here and have a chat with a lovely support team. So I will just pause here for now, and conscious of time, we'll take a look at some of the questions and answers piling up in the Q&A section here. Okay, let's just begin with this one over here from Ellen. Ellen, thanks for this question right here. So if I have just one client at the moment that I want to send an email right now, can I do that? Absolutely, Alan. So if you jump on to the email builder and we just took a look at it, clicking on the quick send button allows you to find out any of your contacts through that campaign builder, if that gives you the answer to your question. Feel free to make the full use of it. All right. Take a look at few other questions. You're very welcome. I'll take a look at few other questions here as well. Okay. Okay, for the update profile button, where would we get the right link address from? Excellent question, Anonymous. So we can provide you with the ActivePipe landing page. Feel free to send us an email to success@ActivePipe, or you can always use the live chat option to reach out to our support team and they can provide you with all the links to it. But highly recommend an excellent identification on that. We can make full use of those call to action buttons, especially the profile updates, to have all those inbound leads flowing straight to us. All right, got a few other questions piling up. I'll try to answer as many as I can, but also we would be reaching out to you all offline and answering which of the ones we have missed out on. But looking at another one here, just please bear with me for a bit. Okay, Craig, can you repeat a campaign for longer than a quarter? Well, we do have the option of selecting the time frame for which we want this campaign to be running, whether it's monthly or quarterly. If we want a specific campaign, just the one we looked at, say the newsletter, to run on a monthly basis, if we select every month. It would be sent out every month on a specific day and time, and it would keep on going till the point you decide that, hey, I want to stop this one. All right, Craig? Cool. Elena, good question. Do we have to change contents every week? Yes, Elena, we do want our clients to have the flexibility of picking any of the contents relevant to them. Hence, you have got the opportunity to jump into your emails and pick whichever content you want to pick from. Very up to date, very relevant. So you've got a long list to pick up from. So yes, you would have to pick them up every week, or if you send yourself, a good practice would be to just set yourself a reminder so that if it's being sent out on, say, for instance, on Friday, you can jump on, take a look at it on Wednesday and just check it around. Hope that helps. Okay, Tatum over here. How do you autofill the agent's photograph like a placeholder? And is there a list of all the active pipe links? Question to the answer to the first question, Tatum. So the agent's photograph. So on the set template, you can click on the photo over there, which leads you to a panel where you can select the sender's photo, which lets the photo to be automatically pre-filled. And yes, about the list of the links, as I mentioned earlier, we can share the links of the active pipe preferences and the appraisal links. But if you have got some links of your own handy as well, a different landing page, you can put in the button too. Okay. All right. Conscious of time, looking at another question here. Prue over here mentioned, did you say that you would be able to send us a list of the active pub links to put in the button boxes? Yes, Prue, we would be able to send you the links. Surely. Okay, cool. All right, just trying to navigate through the questions. All right, Teresa mentioned she might have to rewatch this. Yes, the recording is available on our website. And in fact, those of you who have registered onto this, you would be sent the recording as well. Gabrielle question, if I create and schedule for a monthly email, will ActivePy replace the houses listed sold automatically? Yes, excellent pick, Gabrielle. So the houses listed sold automatically, as you can see, just by activating that toggle bar, would allow the sold properties to be automatically fetched onto your email. So we can definitely add more filters, but again, that's very advanced. We can add filters whether the houses were sold 7 days or 14 days whatsoever, but by default, the latest sold properties would be fetched onto your canvas and into the email. Okay, Joanne over here. Great content, just a quick pick. Is there a weekly template that could be generated weekly that has already content built from the blogs, etc.? So this gets sent out automatically. Well, we do have the templates available, but unfortunately we wouldn't have any specific template highlighting any of the contents. As I mentioned previously, we do have the flexibility of allowing you to pick any of the contents from any of the smart trades in there. Hopefully that helps. All right, couple more questions. Very conscious of the time. We've got a minute left. Okay, if using property of the week feature, can you use the webbook link? What is that? Okay, to add any call to action button over there, we can easily drag and drop the button onto the canvas and copy and paste a link to it, and it would link, or it would take the audience straight to that website profile or any of the things that you want your audience to be taken to. My pleasure, Sue. Really appreciate it. I see that we have just hit the mark. It's 11:30, and unfortunately, I couldn't go through all of the questions, but we will definitely try to reach out to you back if I have missed out on any of the questions. I feel that I've missed out on few because there's quite a long list of questions here, but rest assured, we will be reaching out to you and answering the questions. But if you've got more questions, feel free to send us an email at success@activepipe.com, and also feel free to reach out to the friendly support team. They should be able to help you with that. All right then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for logging into this exciting session. Hopefully it comes very resourceful for you, and stay tuned for more sessions to come up. We do have sessions taking place every week, so please feel free to register, dive into any, and if you know me already, please feel free to shoot me an email. All right, thanks Alan, thanks Christine, catch you next time, take care, see ya.